greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back. And today we are here. It's finally that time. It is finally time to hop in. What is my personal favorite of the year when it comes to gaming? Or I guess you could say technically game of the year. This year have been kind of slow, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, don't get me wrong, we have had a lot of decent games this year, but it kind of feel like, and honestly because it is, that we are at the end of a console generation that stuff is getting a little more slower right now as we build up to the future of next gen. With that being said, there still was a decent amount of good games this year, and a decent amount I finally got around to playing. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. Let's hop into it. Let's go over my 10 favorite game of the year. So starting it list off with a game that I absolutely fell in love with this year, right along with many other people, and I am talking about Beat Saber over on the PlayStation VR, also available over on PC VR stuff as well. And honestly, Beat Saber is a fantastic game, and if you have not played it, the saying of it being technically the killer app for VR, it's pretty accurate on both systems you might play it on. On the PlayStation VR, it's absolutely the best VR game for the most part. I get that to one or two other, but for the majority, it's the best VR, and a fantastic introduction into VR. And then over on PC, it being superior in so many ways with all the mods and extra songs you can get your hands on. If you have no idea what Beat Saber is, of course it's a music game that pretty much take the normal hitting block in up, down, and side direction and adding in the dream of Jedi, I get droid training, VR training, whatever we would call it in that universe. Honestly, it do a fantastic job of mixing all these and honestly making a VR game that pretty much anyone can play. There is really no motion stick involved at all, especially since everything coming to you and you not moving at all. This is a killer app for a reason, and honestly the most fun I have played with a music game pretty much since DDR, and that kind of says something. And here is the next game that I absolutely love, and I wish I could have put so much more time into it. But sadly, my old man hands kind of stopped me of doing that. But with that being said, I highly enjoy my 20 plus hours with it. Everything about the game is more or less fantastic for the most part. Taking the stuff I love from Tenchu Stealth Assassin, putting it into a From Software style game, which in return, I get they did have Tenchu at one point. I am talking about Shikoro Shadow Die Twice, and I probably butchered that name. But who cares, because the game is great, guys. Honestly, if you are someone who want a game that literally gonna push you to your limit, especially with being way more kill bait, since sadly some character customization did get whipped out of this, and in return, this is the de facto game of get good or die, or be like me, your hand just become cripple and you know you don't beat it. But with that being said though, Shikoro is a fantastic stealth action game, kinda. I personally would like a little more stealth than it actually had, but with that being said, it's still one of the best games From Software have put out. But sadly, some of the decision did keep it a little higher on my list of, you know, not letting me fully enjoy it. With that being said, I still highly appreciate Shikoro, and honestly, you need to check the game out if you're a fan of anything from Software. Might it be Tenchu, Dark Souls, you know, any of that ilk. I would say Armored Core, but we will get to that eventually, I guess. And speaking of Armored Core, here's a game that pretty much from the second it was shown, I fell in love with it. Because anyone knows that's been around long enough over on my Twitch channel, once again, link in the description, you would know how much I absolutely love Armored Core. Armored Core is one of them games that were pretty much with me from the beginning of that series, and to this day I absolutely love any with some of them being kind of iffy, mainly last generation Armored Core. But with that being said, when a small little game by the name of Daemon X Machina got announced, and watching the trailer, the only thing I could think of just like, oh my god, this is a new Armored Core, which in return kind of the case, since a lot of developers that worked on Armored Core actually did work on this game, and my god, you can feel it. Because pretty much the game itself boiled down to literally being everything Armored Core but in name. With the mech customization, with the missions, with the characters being probably the biggest draw here of trying to fan out from Armor Core, which in that one they try to give more characters, actual characters, with some hit or miss depending on them. The game itself, when you boil it straight down, is fat-paced mecha action with a high level of customizing your mech to your liking or to your mission structure that you got to do. If you love Armor Core, this is a game that would got so many itches for you. It might not do anything really new. It might not push the genre forward by any means. If you are happy with having a game that we haven't had in like, what, 10 years at this point? This is a absolutely must buy for any Armor Core fan. Or anyone that want to figure out what exactly Armor Core is about without having to go back to Flat Gen or the gen before to experience it. This will give you a good enough idea. It is equally as challenging and equally as addicting as past Armor Core game. And now here a little game that kind of came out of the blue, kind of didn't. I have heard about it because, you know, some people brought this up as one of the best beat 'em up of the year. I have a so-so relationship when it comes to beat 'em ups. When I actually got my hands on River City Girls a couple days ago and actually dived head on into it, pretty much 100% in the game for the most part, is as good as you might think. Sadly, it does outdate Welcome just a little bit in certain areas, but the game itself is still straight fun with the beat 'em up, with the side questing, with the unlocking item, getting moves, leveling up. The game is super challenging. If you enjoy beat 'em up, River City Girls is pretty much one of the best, and honestly, I would say probably setting right up there with Scott Pilgrim in a lot of ways. It would be nice to have a, you know, Scott Pilgrim released again, but, you know, one day maybe. Yeah, the game itself, as far being a mainline / side story of the River City franchise, it honestly is probably the best River City game we have had in a long time in many ways. And honestly, if you haven't played this game yet, absolutely play it, because everything about it is fantastic. So yeah, River City Girls over on the Switch is a fantastic port as well. If you want to go that way, go play this game. If you like beat 'em up, it will be up your alley. And as we continue down the trend of old video games coming back in a brand new way and actually doing it really good, that brings us to our next game, which is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Honestly, when Iga announced this over on Kickstarter, especially during that time period, we all know we all was so about the worryiness of what the game could be and would it be another Mighty Number 9. Lucky enough, it wasn't. And then after the fact, when we realized that, came the question of, is this as good as Symphony of the Night or any of the other Iggy that happened on the Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS, so on and so on? And the answer is yes. I wouldn't say it's surpassed Symphony of the Night by any means. The game itself is fantastic across the board, like the love and care, and honestly still kind of one of the best Metroidvania I have played in a while, because deep down the game is literally the exact same mechanics that Symphony of the Night or Super Metroid is known for to the 10th degree, and on top of that, adding all the secret, all the items, all the collectibles, the weapon, the side questing, is most of the game added a whole bunch of new stuff as well to try to push it past the normal Metroidvania type game. And honestly, I think it did. I don't think it nearly as fun as, say, Symphony of the Night, but the game itself is so solid as a Metroidvania, you can't help but want to 100% the game or fill out the whole castle. If you have not played Bloodstained yet and you have any love for any type of Metroidvania games, this is something you probably need to absolutely get your hands on as quickly as possible. And as we move from one indie game into another here is a game that came out technically last year, but finally made its way to some other consoles this year in 2019, and finally got my hands on it, finally, after a long wait. And I am talking about Gui or Gwei or East, however you want to pronounce it, over on the PS4 and Nintendo Switch finally happened. Playing the game, I was originally going into it thinking like, oh, this is gonna be another like pretty indie game in the style of, say, like Journey. I very quickly will like that not the case at all. Don't get me wrong, the game is beautiful with a hand-drawn style and the cutscenes are fantastic, but that not or what the game is as far as being Journey. The game itself is like a legit puzzle platformer with a little light Metroidvania vibes toward the end, very, very light. You play as a character who lost a void, trying to reclaim it, and so on and so on, with no dialogue spoken in the game. You know, a lot of it can be left up to you, but the gameplay itself boiled down to you collecting items, ability to solve puzzle, and to get farther and farther into that mythical land to get your void back. The game is not just a local, it's a solid platformer. And the puzzle side of it, not on the super like complex side. Most of the puzzles are very simple, but at the same time, just complex enough to make you have them aha moments once you figure it out, which is so satisfying. And honestly, with the game only being about 3.5 hours to 4 hours, this is a game that you need to just sit down and go through it and have a fantastic time doing it, because it honestly really, really great, and I'm so happy it wasn't just a 2D Journey clone. It actually ended up being way more than I ever imagined it was going to be. And speaking of something being way more than I imagined it, of course, our next game is Catherine Full Body, which is a remake of a game that came out last generation on the PS3 and 360. And honestly, going into the game, I originally thought, like, oh, it's probably just going to be, you know, a PS4 port of Catherine, which is fine because that game is fantastic. The team over there who took care of, like, Persona do a fantastic job with the re-releases, because the game is more than what the game was. So much stuff been added. We got a new love interest. We got, I believe, 15 new endings been added. We got a whole new, like, dungeon added. All the cutscenes have been reworked. You would think all this stuff would seem out of place, especially with a game that was so well done originally. But no, it absolutely wore everything intertwined with each other. Feel like the net love interest that got introduced here could have easily been in the original version. Nothing seemed out of place. Nothing seemed like it been able to get into the story. Everything flowed perfectly. And the gameplay itself is addictive as ever, with it block pushing, puzzle solving in a time limit. And then with the whole Twilight Zone ending, or just Twilight Zone parts of it all, since at the end of the day this is kind of a Twilight Zone episode. And if you absolutely love Twilight Zone, you will absolutely love it. If you love very like grounded, I get the best way, slice of life anime with a sense of supernatural mythical stuff toward in as well, this is fantastic. And if you want to listen to me rant any more into Catherine Full Body, make sure you check out my video I did about Game of the Decade, which should be over here on a card. Make sure you click on that and hear any bit more about my gushing for Catherine. This remake is right up there with RE1 remake of being one of the remakes that is so good, so perfect, did not change anything but add a billion new things. It really made the last game obsolete, and it's so true here. Like, there was no reason to play the original Catherine when Catherine Full Body exists. So go grab this game if you are interested at all in anything that I might have said. And here a game that need no introduction because it's been winning awards left and right, center, or been brought up so many times during the Game of the Year discussion all across the internet. Of course, I'm talking about Control. I finally got around to playing it, got it on Black Friday for fairly cheap, which I was happy about. Playing it with it being a third-person shooter, Metroidvania light type of game, it's solid. It's super solid. The story itself is confusing but intriguing, and the way it all ends up connecting is like mind-bending in so many ways, no pun intended, with the game itself. And then on top of that, the ties the game have to something really dear to my heart, which I won't go into for spoiler reason. But if you watch my live stream, once again, twitch.tv/Prinnyshow, you will see me freaking out when I started realizing certain things about the plot. Because of that, because of the story, and how much I was driven to just do all the in-game content, and there's so much in-game content in this, right along with so many areas that are discoverable, missable, and there is a lot to this game. Like, any of the Metroidvania stuff wasn't nearly as flushed out as I was hoping. Everything else about this game is literally so rememberable, I probably won't forget about this game anytime soon, to be honest. And speaking of a game I will not forget, and I'm so surprised by, because after playing the last game in this series, I was very much kind of like melancholy about the whole situation. Like by the end of it, it felt very pointless. But lucky enough, with a brand new installment of Guilds with Guild 5, it pretty much fixed every issue I ever had. The story is interesting, the characters are interesting, the plot actually feel like it did something. Well, Guild 4 was literally nothing more than just like a feeble dream of something that just went right out of my head right after beating it. Guild 5 is pretty much everything I loved about the original Guild trilogy, and then everything new that was toward in, with the ability, the upgrading of your robot Jack, with the open world area of the game, even if they're not that open, but still more open to anything in Guilds. All that stuff they throwed in here really made this game something special. And lucky enough, with it being given out on Game Pass, I got a chance to play it, because originally I had real no interest in it, since after 4 I was kind of done with the series. But yeah, playing this on Game Pass, I am so happy I did, because my god, this game is so good, especially if you really enjoyed the single player of Guild 1 through 3. Yeah, pretty much also they kind of made 4 obsolete by counting a lot of stuff, which was honestly probably for the best, and then not counting all the multiplayer stuff that I'm pretty sure anyone who want to get into that, you can, with Horde mode, the voices, all the other new game modes as well. For the single player itself, like my gosh, like that game was so surprising, and honestly ended up being so good. But not as good as the final game. And of course, anyone that, once again, watched my live stream, you would know I would kind of so on for the fourth half. Which, don't get me wrong, the game is great in the fourth half, but certain parts of it I was iffy about, since I was playing the game on the permadeath with no rewind ability, and some of you might actually know what I'm talking about now. Once I got to the halfway mark, and most of my issues evolving around that gameplay kind of got rectified, or just kind of became what I originally wanted. The game literally sucked into my head, any more so to this day I want to go back and play it again. And there is 3 full campaigns in it, and 2 of them I still haven't done. And if you haven't figured out what I'm talking about yet, this is of course my personal game of the year, which is Fire Emblem 3 Houses, because yeah, I love me some tactical RPGs. They are some of my favorite RPG, and I have never played a Fire Emblem game before this, since, you know, a lot of them didn't come out here, and then not counting the ones that were mainly trapped on handheld, which by the time most of them came out, I was out of high school and like didn't really do handheld stuff. Lucky enough, with it coming out on the Switch, I finally got my chance to play it. My god, by the end of the game, it's literally one of them cases of like sadness, happiness, like the characters is so memorable, and how that story ended up going was, any of it was a little bit like, you know what was gonna happen, but to the extent it happened, I personally had no idea a certain event was gonna happen to the extent, and to absolutely how dark it can get as well. I haven't had that much fun with a strategy RPG pretty much since the original XCOM reboot, or Enemy Unknown, wasn't it? I believe the game had everything: the tactic, the day-to-day life simulation of trying to figure out what you're gonna do, will you level, will you fight, will you talk to people, and then to like permadeath on top of it. Any if it does give you the power to rewind time, I never actually used it except for when they made me. I kind of feel like that made the game better. Yeah, the game itself is probably now easily my favorite strategy RPG of all time. Like I said, I spent like 80-90 hours on one campaign. I still got 2 more to do. So the game still has so much stuff to discover, so much stuff to do, and honestly, so much more enjoyment to have. If I gotta mentally prepare myself for the darkness that will come in the game, because it's not bright eye and bushy tail, no matter how much you think it might be. So yeah, that there is my game of the year, Fire Emblem, and honestly, I can say, at that point, as long as Fire Emblem keep coming out on consoles, I'm there day one for all of them, because the game made me a believer in the franchise finally. Overall, this year have been fantastic. Like, we got Fire Emblem, I get we loving of Guilds, my Nordgasm for Control, and just, this year like I said at the beginning of it, even if it was a little slow, this shield still had a lot of good stuff. And a lot of good stuff that actually made me very, very happy. And in return, very surprised in many ways. So with that, that is my Game of the Years. Let me know your Game of the Years in the comments below. What are your favorite games of the year? Am I right? Am I wrong? Should have been Death Stranding. Haven't played it yet. That line. But yeah, let me know in the comment below. And once again, if you're interested in seeing my feelings on all the games, you can head on over to twitch.tv/Prinnyshow. Well, most of them are still archived. Or you can check out my live stream on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, starting at midnight Central. So with that, I'm out of here, my dudes. I am going to go, and we are going to go down memory lane with some PS2 games over on Twitch, and then go from there. So with that, have a good one, my dudes. Bye. You saved my life. Whoa! I do the job, and a freaking horse skipped me. A freaking horse took one meal. Great. Just great.